The Galactic Empire's ambition, in the vast expanse of space where stars glittered like distant diamonds, the Galactic Empire reigned supreme. It was a colossal force, known throughout the galaxy for its immense power and ruthless efficiency. The Empire's reach extended across countless star systems, its fleets of sleek warships patrolling the dark void, and its armies conquering worlds with an iron grip. The Empire's leaders were a council of cold, calculating beings, each one more ambitious than the last. They ruled from a massive space station orbiting the heart of their domain, where decisions were made with the flick of a finger, and the fate of entire planets was decided with a few terse commands. Their ambition knew no bounds. They sought to expand their territory ever further, never satisfied with their already vast dominion. One day, the Empire's scouts discovered a small, blue planet orbiting an unremarkable star. This planet was Earth, a world teeming with life, rich in resources, and strategically positioned in a less traveled part of the galaxy. To the Empire, Earth was an enticing prize. Its resources could fuel their ever-growing war machine, and its location could serve as a new strategic base. The scouts transmitted their findings back to the Empire's central command. The leaders, upon reviewing the data, were intrigued. Earth seemed primitive at first glance, a backwater world with no significant technology to speak of. Yet, there was something about it that piqued their interest. The Empire's scientists detected unusual energy signatures emanating from the planet, hinting at potential technological advancements hidden beneath its seemingly simple surface. A meeting was convened among the Empire's top leaders. The room was a sleek metallic chamber filled with holographic displays and the hum of advanced machinery. The leaders gathered around a central table, their eyes fixed on the holographic projection of Earth. The projection flickered, showing images of the planet's continents, oceans, and cities. One of the leaders, a tall, imposing figure with a voice like ice, spoke first. "This planet, Earth, appears to be an ideal candidate for our next conquest. Its resources are abundant, and its strategic position is advantageous." Another leader, more reserved but equally calculating, nodded in agreement. "The preliminary data suggests that the inhabitants are technologically inferior. We could easily subjugate them and integrate their resources into our empire." A third leader, known for his strategic mind, raised a concern. "We should be cautious. The energy signatures we detected could indicate more advanced technology than we currently understand. It would be wise to investigate further before proceeding with any invasion." The leaders debated the merits of immediate action versus further investigation. The decision was made to send a delegation to Earth. This delegation, composed of elite envoys and their accompanying force, was tasked with making contact with Earth's leaders and delivering an ultimatum. They were to demand the planet's surrender and integration into the Galactic Empire, under the threat of imminent destruction. As the delegation prepared to depart, the Empire's leaders issued a clear message. Earth was to be given a chance to comply peacefully, but resistance would be met with overwhelming force. The Empire's ships, sleek and menacing, departed for Earth, leaving behind a trail of shimmering stardust. On Earth, the arrival of the Empire's delegation was met with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. The planet's leaders were initially baffled by the sudden appearance of such advanced spacecraft. They had never encountered beings from beyond their world, let alone an empire of such vast power. The delegation's message, delivered with cold precision, was a stark contrast to the Earth's peaceful way of life. The Empire's message was simple and direct. Earth had been identified as a new addition to their vast empire. The planet's leaders were given an ultimatum: submit to the Galactic Empire's rule or face total annihilation. The message was accompanied by a demonstration of the Empire's might, a brief but impressive display of their technological superiority. Earth's leaders, stunned by the sudden and aggressive approach, were faced with a dilemma. The Empire's power was undeniable, and the prospect of resistance seemed daunting. Yet, the leaders knew that surrendering without a fight was not an option. They had to decide whether to comply with the Empire's demands or to stand their ground, knowing that the outcome of their decision could determine the fate of their world. As the delegation returned to their ships, leaving Earth to ponder their response. The Empire leaders were confident. They believed that Earth's leaders would bow to their demands, recognizing the futility of resistance. The Empire's vast resources and military might seem insurmountable, and they were certain that Earth would soon become another jewel in their growing crown. Yet, unbeknownst to the Empire, Earth was not as helpless as it appeared. The planet's leaders, while initially caught off guard, began to mobilize their forces and prepare for the impending confrontation. The stage was set for a clash of civilizations, where the might of the Galactic Empire would be tested against the resolve of a world determined to defend its freedom. As the Empire's ships receded into the distance, the fate of Earth hung in the balance. The Galactic Empire had set its sights on a new prize, and the coming struggle would determine whether Earth would be subdued or rise to challenge the Empire's overwhelming might. The human response. The message from the Galactic Empire arrived like a thunderclap on Earth. It was a cold, digital transmission that crackled through the planet's communication networks. The ultimatum was clear. Earth was to submit to the Empire's rule or face total destruction. The shockwave of this announcement rippled through every nation and organization on the planet, leaving chaos in its wake. In the heart of Earth's largest city, a special emergency meeting was convened. Leaders from every major government, military official, and scientist gathered in a fortified underground bunker. The room was filled with tension as they awaited the arrival of the Empire's delegation, who had come to deliver their demands in person. Among those present was President Elena Ramirez, a calm and decisive leader known for her ability to navigate crises with a clear head. She stood at the head of the long conference table, her gaze fixed on the holographic display showing the Empire's ships hovering in Earth's orbit. The projection flickered with images of the intimidating warships and the cold, mechanical face of the Empire's envoy. General Marcus Lee, head of Earth's defense forces, was the first to speak. "This is a serious threat. The Empire has shown its strength and demands our immediate submission. We need to discuss our options." Dr. Emily Tanaka, a leading scientist, voiced her concern. "Their technology is far beyond anything we've seen. We don't fully understand what they're capable of. We need to be careful." The room buzzed with nervous chatter as leaders and experts debated their next move. Some advocated for compliance, believing that resisting the Empire's overwhelming power was futile. Others argued for defiance, driven by a fierce desire to protect their world's freedom and sovereignty. President Ramirez, her expression resolute, called the room to order. "We must respond. Our decision will define the future of our planet. We can either submit and lose our autonomy or stand together and fight for our survival." The debate continued late into the night. Ultimately, a consensus emerged. Earth would respond to the Empire's demands, but not in the way they expected. Instead of immediate surrender, Earth would send a message back to the Empire conveying their refusal to comply and their intention to defend themselves. The response would be firm but diplomatic, aimed at buying time to prepare for the impending conflict. As the decision was made, a team of diplomats and military advisors began drafting a response. Their message would need to be clear and assertive, conveying both strength and resolve. The response was carefully crafted to acknowledge the Empire's power while making it clear that Earth was not easily subdued. The next day, Earth's response was sent. It was a simple but powerful declaration. Earth would not submit to the Empire's demands. Instead, the planet was prepared to defend itself against any invasion. The message was accompanied by a display of Earth's own technological advancements, intended to show that despite their initial impression, Earth was not as defenseless as it appeared. The Galactic Empire's response was swift. The Empire's leaders were initially dismissive, believing Earth's declaration to be nothing more than a vain attempt at resistance. They viewed the message with contempt and prepared to proceed with their invasion plans. Meanwhile, on Earth, the mood was a mix of fear and determination. The leaders knew that time was of the essence. The military began to mobilize, and scientists worked around the clock to enhance their defenses. The planet's space agencies coordinated with international military forces to develop new strategies and technologies to counter the Empire's superior firepower. In underground bunkers and high-tech labs, teams of engineers and scientists collaborated on projects that would fortify Earth's defenses. They worked on developing new weapon systems, improving communication. Others contributed by working in factories producing military equipment or by participating in civil defense programs. Public morale was high despite the dire situation. People organized community events to support the troops, and many participated in drills and preparedness activities. The unity and determination of Earth's population became a symbol of hope and resilience. In the final weeks leading up to the anticipated invasion, Earth's leaders held a series of high-level briefings to ensure that everyone was on the same page. The strategies were fine-tuned, and last-minute adjustments were made to the defensive systems. The planet was gearing up for a monumental confrontation, with every available resource directed towards ensuring humanity's survival. The countdown to the invasion began. Earth's defenses were in place, its allies were mobilized, and the planet's people were ready. The Galactic Empire's ships remained a formidable presence in Earth's orbit. But the confidence of Earth's leaders and its citizens had grown. They were prepared to face the Empire's might with courage and determination. As the deadline approached, President Ramirez delivered a final address to the planet. Standing before a global audience, she spoke with unwavering resolve. "We have prepared as best as we can. The Galactic Empire may be powerful, but we have something they cannot take from us: our spirit and our will to fight. We will defend our world with everything we have." With those words, Earth stood on the brink of a new era. The preparations were complete, and the stage was set for the clash of civilizations. As the Galactic Empire prepared to launch its invasion, Earth was ready to show the galaxy that it would not fall easily. The battle for the future of humanity. The Empire's reaction as the Galactic Empire prepared for its invasion of Earth. Its leaders maintained a confident, almost detached attitude. From their colossal space station, they observed Earth's frantic preparations with a mix of disdain and curiosity. They believed that humanity's resistance was futile, merely a temporary obstacle in their grand plan of expansion. In the heart of the Empire's command center, a room filled with sleek technology and holographic displays, the leaders gathered for a strategic briefing. The atmosphere was tense, but the Empire's high-ranking officials exuded an air of cold certainty. The hologram in the center of the room showed Earth's orbit, with its defensive satellites and military vessels moving into position. Imperator Valtor, the chief strategist of the Empire, addressed the assembly. His voice was a deep, metallic rumble, carrying an air of authority. "We have received Earth's response. Their declaration of defiance is a predictable but insignificant gesture. Our forces are more than capable of dealing with their resistance." A subordinate officer, known for his meticulous attention to detail, chimed in. "We have intercepted their communications and observed their preparations. Earth's defenses are being bolstered, but their technology remains primitive compared to ours. Their attempts at diplomacy and alliance building are noted, but they are unlikely to shift the balance in their favor." The leaders nodded, reassured by the officer's analysis. Despite Earth's efforts, the Empire's confidence remained unshaken. The Empire had encountered countless worlds and civilizations, and their experience had taught them that defiance was often a prelude to swift subjugation. Grand Admiral Thorne, commander of the Empire's fleet, spoke next. "Our ships are ready for the invasion. We have the firepower to overwhelm their defenses within hours. The preliminary phase will involve disabling their space defenses and establishing a blockade around the planet." The discussion turned to the specifics of the invasion plan. The Empire's strategy was to launch a multi-pronged assault, targeting Earth's space defenses, military installations, and key cities. The objective was to break the planet's resistance quickly and decisively, leaving no room for counterattacks. While the leaders discussed their tactics, the Empire's propaganda machine went into full swing. The Empire's media outlets broadcasted messages of impending victory, portraying the invasion as a mere formality. Their broadcasts mocked Earth's efforts, depicting the planet's resistance as a pitiful struggle against the inevitable. The Empire's leaders were well aware of the psychological impact of their propaganda. By belittling Earth's defenses and portraying the conflict as a foregone conclusion, they aimed to demoralize the planet's inhabitants and make their eventual victory seem all the more inevitable. As the days passed and the invasion fleet assembled in the outer reaches of Earth's solar system, the Empire's leaders continued to monitor the situation with a mix of detachment and anticipation. They were confident that the upcoming operation would be swift and decisive. However, beneath the surface of the Empire's confidence, there were whispers of concern. A few of the Empire's analysts and strategists expressed doubts about the effectiveness of their approach. They had observed Earth's response and its preparations, noting that the planet's defenses, while inferior, were not to be underestimated. These concerns were dismissed by the higher-ups, who viewed them as overcautious. The Empire's leaders had long prided themselves on their ability to crush resistance swiftly, and they saw no reason to deviate from their established methods. The decision was made to proceed with the invasion as planned, with little regard for the dissenting voices. On the eve of the invasion, the Empire's command center was a hive of activity. The fleet was readied, its ships aligned in formation, each one bristling with weapons and technology. The Empire's soldiers and commanders prepared for their roles, their expressions set with grim determination. The final briefing was held, where Imperator Valtor delivered a speech to rally the troops. "Tomorrow, we will strike at Earth with the full force of the Galactic Empire. Our victory is assured. We will show this planet the futility of their defiance and add another world to our empire." As the leaders concluded their preparations, the Empire's invasion fleet moved into position, its massive warships looming over Earth. The sight of these imposing vessels in the sky was a stark reminder of the impending conflict. The Empire's forces were primed and ready, their confidence unshaken by the planet's attempts at resistance. The stage was now set for the invasion. The Galactic Empire, with its overwhelming power and unwavering certainty, was poised to make its move. Earth's defenses, while bolstered and determined, faced a formidable opponent. The clash of civilizations was about to begin, and the outcome remained uncertain. As the Empire's fleet prepared to strike, both sides braced for the confrontation that would determine the fate of Earth and its inhabitants. The battle begins. The moment of reckoning had arrived. The Galactic Empire's massive fleet, an awe-inspiring armada of warships and advanced technology, moved into Earth's orbit. The sky was filled with the intimidating sight of these colossal ships, casting shadows over the planet below. The invasion was about to begin, and the air was thick with tension and anticipation. In the command center of Earth's United Defense Council, the mood was intense. General Marcus Lee and his team watched the live feed from their sensors, tracking the Empire's fleet as it prepared to launch its assault. Every available monitor displayed strategic maps, tactical data, and real-time updates from Earth's space defenses. "We're about to engage," General Lee announced, his voice steady but filled with urgency. "All units prepare for immediate action. Activate the defense systems and get ready to deploy our countermeasures." The moment General Lee gave the order, Earth's defense systems roared to life. Satellites armed with powerful lasers and missiles came online, their energy shields flaring up as they prepared to intercept any incoming threats. The Earth's space agencies had worked tirelessly to set up this defense network, and now it was time to see if it would hold against the Empire's onslaught. In space, the Empire's fleet moved into position. The leading ships, enormous and menacing, aligned their weapon systems and prepared to deliver the opening salvo. Their commanders, confident in their superior technology, gave the signal to begin the attack. A barrage of energy blasts and missiles erupted from the Empire's warships, streaking through space towards Earth. The initial wave of attacks struck the outer defensive layers, causing bright flashes and explosions in the vacuum of space. Earth's defense satellites sprang into action, firing back with their own energy beams and projectiles. The battle began with a ferocious intensity. Earth's defenders fought bravely, their weapons lighting up the night sky as they attempted to repel the Empire's assault. The first few minutes of the conflict were chaotic, with explosions and debris filling the space around Earth. The Empire's fleet unleashed its full might, targeting key defensive positions and attempting to break through the planet's defenses. On the ground, The situation was equally tense. Military personnel and civilians were on high alert, their nerves frayed by the relentless bombardment from space. In command centers around the world, leaders coordinated the response to the attack, dispatching ground troops and preparing for possible follow-up invasions. In the midst of the chaos, President Elena Ramirez addressed the nation. Her voice, broadcasted to every corner of the planet, was both calm and resolute. "We are facing an unprecedented challenge, but we have prepared for this moment, and we will not back down. Our defenders are fighting with courage and determination. We must stay united and support our forces." As the battle raged on, Earth's defenders demonstrated their ingenuity and resilience. The new defense systems, developed in response to the Empire's threats, proved their worth. Energy shields held firm against the Empire's weapons, and Earth's countermeasures managed to intercept many of the incoming attacks. Despite the valiant efforts of Earth's defenders, the Empire's fleet pressed forward. The initial wave had caused significant damage to some of the defensive satellites, and the Empire's ships continued to target critical infrastructure. The fight was far from over, and the outcome remained uncertain. In space, the Empire's commanders were pleased with their progress. The invasion was proceeding as planned, and their ships had successfully breached several layers of Earth's defenses. However, they were not prepared for the tenacity and resourcefulness of Earth's defenders. The planet's unexpected resilience forced the Empire to adjust its strategy, leading to a more protracted and challenging engagement than they had anticipated. As the battle entered its second hour, the intensity did not wane. Both sides continued to exchange fire, their technology and tactics constantly evolving in response to each other's moves. The skies above Earth were a battlefield of flashing lights, roaring engines, and explosive impacts. Back on Earth, the fight was not limited to space. In anticipation of the possibility of a ground invasion, military forces were deployed to key locations around the globe. Troops took up defensive positions, fortifying cities and military bases against any potential breaches. The planet's ground forces, equipped with the latest technology and weaponry, prepared to defend their world from any invaders who might land. In the midst of this frenetic activity, a glimmer of hope emerged. The unity and determination of Earth's inhabitants, combined with their advanced defensive technologies, began to turn the tide of the battle. The Empire's fleet, though still formidable, faced growing resistance from a planet that refused to surrender. As the first day of the conflict drew to a close, the immediate danger from the initial wave of attacks began to subside. Earth's defense systems, though battered and strained, had held their ground. The Empire's fleet, having achieved some of its objectives, began to regroup and reassess its strategy for the days ahead. The battle for Earth had only just begun, and the conflict was far from over. Both sides had demonstrated their strength and resolve, but the outcome remained uncertain. As the dust settled and the fighters took stock of their losses and gains, the stage was set for the next phase of this epic struggle. The fight for Earth's survival was ongoing, and its defenders were prepared to face whatever came next. Turning the tide. The battle for Earth had raged on for days, with both sides taking heavy losses. The Galactic Empire's fleet continued its relentless assault, but Earth's defenders had shown remarkable resilience. As the conflict dragged on, a crucial shift began to emerge in the balance of power. General Marcus Lee, ever vigilant, reviewed the latest data from the front lines. The Empire's initial push had made significant headway, but Earth's forces were adapting and evolving their tactics. The defense systems, though strained, had held firm. Now a new strategy was taking shape, one that aimed to turn the tide in favor of humanity. "We need to exploit their overconfidence," General Lee said to his team. "The Empire has underestimated our resolve. It's time to launch a counteroffensive and show them what Earth can really do." In the command centers around the globe, military leaders began to implement the new strategy. Coordinated counterattacks were planned, targeting key weak points in the Empire's fleet. Earth's forces would strike where the Empire's defenses were least prepared, aiming to disrupt their operations and gain a tactical advantage. The first step was to deploy specialized strike teams equipped with advanced stealth technology. These teams would infiltrate the outer layers of the Empire's fleet and disable critical systems. Their mission was risky, but it was a crucial part of the plan to shift the momentum. The strike teams, composed of the most skilled soldiers and engineers, launched their mission under the cover of darkness. Using cutting-edge stealth technology, they maneuvered through the debris and wreckage left by previous skirmishes, closing in on their targets. As they approached the Empire's vessels, they used high-tech EMP devices to disable key components and create openings for further attacks. Simultaneously, Earth's space forces launched a series of coordinated assaults. With the Empire's attention diverted by the stealth teams, Earth's warships took advantage of the opportunity. They focused their fire on the weakened sections of the Empire's fleet, targeting their command ships and support vessels. The effect of these combined efforts was immediate. The Empire's once dominant fleet began to falter under the unexpected pressure. Their command ships, critical to their coordination, were struck by precision strikes that caused confusion and disarray. The Empire's previously smooth operations were now marred by disruptions and setbacks. On the ground, Earth's military personnel were invigorated by the news of the successful counterattacks. Morale soared as reports of victories and damaged enemy vessels spread. The unity and determination of Earth's defenders were evident, and their resolve only strengthened by the recent successes. President Elena Ramirez took to the airwaves once more to address the planet. Her speech, broadcast to millions, was filled with hope and encouragement. "We have shown the galaxy our strength. Our forces are fighting bravely and turning the tide. We must keep pushing forward and show the Empire that Earth will never surrender." The president's words resonated with the people of Earth. Across the globe, citizens rallied to support the war effort. Volunteers joined the military, while others contributed in various ways, from manufacturing supplies to supporting troops on the front lines. The collective effort of humanity was a powerful force, fueling the momentum of the counteroffensive. As the days passed, Earth's strategic initiatives continued to pay off. The Empire's once imposing fleet was now facing increasing resistance. The combination of successful stealth missions, targeted strikes, and bolstered morale began to shift the advantage in favor of Earth. The Empire, caught off guard by the unexpected turn of events, was forced to rethink its approach. General Lee and his team remained vigilant, constantly analyzing the changing dynamics of the battle. They identified new opportunities for further attacks and continued to adapt their strategies to keep the Empire off balance. Each successful mission and victory contributed to the growing sense of optimism. Despite the progress, the battle was far from over. The Empire's fleet still posed a significant threat, and the conflict continued to exact a heavy toll on both sides. Earth's defenders were aware that their gains were hard-won and that the fight for their planet was far from finished. In the Empire's command center, the mood had shifted from confidence to concern. The previously unshakable Imperator Valtor and his advisors were now faced with the reality that their invasion was not proceeding as smoothly as expected. Reports of losses and setbacks were met with growing frustration and urgency. "We underestimated Earth's resilience," Valtor admitted in a tense briefing. "Their ability to adapt and counter our strategies has been impressive. We need to reassess our approach and address these unexpected challenges." The Empire's leaders scrambled to regroup and devise new plans. They called for reinforcements and began to reallocate resources to address the growing threats. The once dominant invaders were now on the defensive, their tactics disrupted by the determined resistance of Earth's forces. As the conflict continued, the outcome remained uncertain. The battle for Earth was proving to be a test of endurance and adaptability for both sides. The momentum had shifted, but the fight was far from over. Earth's defenders remained steadfast, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead as they, the Empire's retreat. The tide of battle had turned decisively. After days of intense conflict, the Galactic Empire's once confident fleet found itself on the defensive. Earth's defenders, bolstered by their recent successes and unwavering resolve, had mounted a counteroffensive that began to push the invaders back. Now, the moment of reckoning had arrived. The Empire's retreat. In the heart of the Empire's command center, an atmosphere of frustration and defeat was palpable. The grand, technologically advanced room, usually filled with pride and control, was now abuzz with nervous energy. Holographic displays showed the Empire's fleet in disarray, struggling to maintain its position as Earth's forces pressed their advantage. Imperator Valtor, the Empire's once unflappable leader, stood at the center of the command room, his face marked by a rare display of concern. He and his advisors reviewed the latest reports, which indicated that their fleet was suffering severe losses and that their strategic positions were being overrun by Earth's forces. "The situation is deteriorating," Valtor said grimly. "Our initial plans underestimated the resilience and adaptability of Earth's defenders. We are now faced with a situation that requires immediate and drastic measures." Grand Admiral Thorne, visibly agitated, slammed his fist on the control panel. "We've lost several key vessels and are unable to sustain our current strategy. The continued resistance is draining our resources and morale." The Empire's High Command convened to discuss their next steps. The decision was clear. A tactical retreat was necessary to preserve their remaining forces and reassess their strategy. The Empire had not anticipated such a strong resistance, and their initial overconfidence had led to critical mistakes. As the order for retreat was given, the Empire's fleet began to pull back from Earth's orbit. The once formidable armada, now battered and diminished, slowly withdrew. The sight of the Empire's ships retreating from the planet was a moment of triumph for Earth's defenders. In Earth's command center, General Marcus Lee and his team watched with a mixture of relief and caution. They had achieved a significant victory, but they knew that the retreating Empire was not the end of the conflict. There was still a risk that the Empire might regroup and return with renewed strength. "We've pushed them back," General Lee said, addressing his team. "But we need to stay vigilant. The Empire may regroup and try again. We must continue to strengthen our defenses and be prepared for any future attacks." On the ground, celebrations erupted as news of the Empire's retreat spread. The people of Earth, who had endured so much during the conflict, were buoyed by the success of their defenders. The streets were filled with cheers and relief as people celebrated the momentary respite from the threat of invasion. President Elena Ramirez addressed the world once more, her voice filled with both pride and resolve. "Today we celebrate a great victory. Our defenders have shown extraordinary courage and strength, but let us not forget that this is a temporary reprieve. We must remain vigilant and prepared for any future challenges." As the Empire's fleet withdrew from Earth's solar system, they left behind a trail of damaged ships and debris. The once mighty armada, now a shadow of its former self, retreated into the depths of space, its future uncertain. The retreating fleet was a testament to the fierce resistance and strategic prowess of Earth's defenders. Back in the Empire's command center, the leaders faced the reality of their failed invasion. The retreat was a blow to their pride and a setback to their plans for expansion. They had underestimated Earth's resolve and adaptability, and their once assured victory had turned into a retreat. Valtor and his advisors began to analyze the reasons for their defeat. They reviewed the battle reports, identified the key factors that contributed to their loss, and began planning for a possible return. The Empire's leaders were determined to learn from their mistakes and prepare for any future engagements with Earth. In the aftermath of the retreat, Earth's defenders began the process of recovery and rebuilding. The conflict had taken a toll on their infrastructure and resources, but the victory had also united them in their resolve. The people of Earth were determined to rebuild and fortify their defenses to ensure that they would be ready for any future threats. As the dust settled and the immediate danger subsided, Earth's focus shifted to recovery and rebuilding. The conflict had brought the